The next thing about resilience, folks, is how you plan. Okay? Now, can I give you a bit of feedback? I've been travelling, I've had the great opportunity to talk to a lot of people around this place, and I've been watching you for about 2 or 3 years, I reckon, 3 or 4 years, I reckon. I've been talking to Mark for about 3 or 4 years, saying, Mark, you've got to get me across there, because I see you people making the same mistakes as we made about 15 years ago. We're making the same mistake as we were making 15 years ago, and it's a lot about planning. Because, folks, for every action, there's a thing we call a reaction. Okay? Now, somewhere between that action and reaction, there's a thing we call the resilience moment. And the resilient moment is this, and that is, what's the most efficient response for me to do right now? Okay? And sometimes the most efficient thing you can do is do nothing. Okay? But ultimately you have to deal with it, and then we go through, if you don't deal with it, we go through what I call an undeveloped resilience, where we go into flight, fight or freeze. Who's ever heard of flight, fight or freeze type stuff? Flight is to avoid, fight is to try and dominate, and freeze is not quite sure what to do, like kangaroo and headlights. And that becomes what we call a negative behavioural cycle, okay? Where I need you to get is we need to get you into problem-solving modes. Just because you are resilient does not mean that you'll not go through a tough time, and for some of you that you won't lose the farm. Right? It happens. But what resilience is all about is your ability to get through those things and bounce forward. And what I've noticed so far is that we're a bit reactive. We're waiting. We're waiting. And you never, when you're going through change, you never ever want to wait. That's the mistake we made in the early 2000s. Hopefully it's going to rain. I used to say, says who it's going to rain. Well, it's got to rain sometime, Dennis. You don't develop a plan on a wish. Right? It's got to be underpinned by prayer, but not a wish. So, folks, it's about how you plan. But critically also, it's about how you do. Right? You've got to do. And this is the hardest part of human behaviour in terms of doing. When in my game, you know, when it's all said and done, I reckon there's more said than done. You know, I reckon people will sit back there and more comfortable talking about stuff than actually doing it until it's too late, until they reach a thing called the tipping point. And I reckon there are 3 types of people in this world, folks, when it comes to this stuff. There are those people who sit back there and make it happen. There are those people who sit back there and watch it happen. And there's another group of people who say, what frickin' happened? You know, and the world's moved on, you know. You've got to be in the first one. You've got to be in the first one. You can be in the second one as long as you've got a good strategy around you. But the hardest thing that most of us will ever do is to do.